Mr. Johnson, husband, sir. You may think that our memories are identical, or at least consistent, given the time we have been married. However, that would be an error of presumption. You have tried to make me respectable by diminishing my interests and depriving me of friends. But I have expanded your limitations by subterfuge, out of necessity. This gruel is as delicious as the existence you intended for me. 10 years have passed since I first thought that the gout and your age would return me to a single life. I didn't expect to be your wife all this time. It is also 10 years since the biggest society scandal. This is where our memories diverge. You knew little of what actually went on. I knew it all. My dear friend, Lady Susan Vernon, 4 months a widow, left Langford, the home of your former ward, Mrs. Mannering, having secured both the affection of Mrs. Mannering's husband and of her sister's lover, Sir James Martin. Lady Susan then removed herself from an unpleasant situation and, with perfect propriety, went to stay at the home of her dead husband's relations. I'm sure you remember her voice. Everyone does.
Langford, December. My dear brother, I can no longer refuse myself the pleasure of spending some weeks with you at Churchill, and therefore, if quite convenient to you and Mrs. Vernon, I shall hope to be introduced to a sister whom I have so long desired to be acquainted with. My kind friends here most affectionately urge me to prolong my stay, but their cheerful dispositions lead them too much into society for my present state of mind, and I look forward to when I shall be admitted into your delightful retirement. I long to be made known to your dear little children, in whose hearts I shall be very eager to secure an interest. I shall soon have occasion for all my fortitude, as I am on the point of separation from my own daughter. The long illness of her dear father prevented my paying her that attention which duty and affection dictated, and I have reason to fear that her governess was unequal to the charge. I have therefore resolved on placing her at one of the best private schools in town, where I shall have an opportunity of leaving her myself in my way to you. I am determined not to be denied admittance at Churchill. It would give me most painful sensations to know that it were not in your power to receive me. Your most obliged and affectionate sister, Susan Vernon.
And then she wrote me her honest intentions.
Langford. You were mistaken, my dear Alicia, in supposing me fixed at this place for the rest of the winter. It grieves me to say how greatly you were mistaken. At present nothing goes smoothly. The females of the family are united against me. You foretold how it would be, and Mannering is so uncommonly pleasing that I was not without apprehensions. I remember saying to myself, I like this man, pray heaven no harm come of it. But I was determined to be discreet, to bear in mind my being only 4 months a widow, and to be as quiet as possible. I have admitted no one's attentions but Mannering's. I have avoided all flirtation, except towards Sir James Martin, on whom I bestowed a little notice in order to detach him from Miss Mannering. But if the world could know my motive, they would honour me. It was the sacred impulse of maternal affection, the advantage of my daughter, that led me on. And if that daughter were not the greatest simpleton on earth, I might have been rewarded for my exertions, as Sir James did make proposals to me for Frederica. But Frederica, who was born to be the torment of my life, chose to set herself so violently against the match that I thought it better to lay aside the scheme for the present. I've repented that I did not marry him myself, and were he less contemptibly weak, I certainly should. But I own myself rather romantic, and riches only will not satisfy me. The event of all this is very provoking. Sir James is gone, Maria Mannering highly incensed, and Mrs. Mannering so enraged against me that I should not be surprised at her appealing to her guardian, if she had the liberty of addressing him. But there your husband stands my friend, and the kindest, most amiable action of his life was his throwing her off forever on her marriage. Keep up his resentment, I charge you. We are now in a sad state.